Hello there, everybody. Dingo Crash here with,
Press start to play 01.
and pretty much today we will be starting a some sort of a discussion show where we will be talking about various things, such as what we're gonna start with today. We're gonna be talking about how next gen consoles have came out actually kind of too early, and they don't have enough games. Not they don't really have a big library, and how they really should have been um, kind of delayed to like around, I think,
Probably around,
2017 or so.
I would say 2016, because then we would have a more of a starting lineup coming out rather than what they had when they first started.
Yeah, because really, since the PS4 came out, I really did not find myself needing to buy a PlayStation 4 since there isn't really that much of an interesting library. There are some games that are being remastered for the PS4, or some just maybe a little few games that are coming for the PS4 that I don't personally find any interest in. Um, like in 2016, as you guys know, there's gonna be a whole lot of newer games that, mostly from what I've heard, there's of course the Ratchet and Clank, the new Ratchet and Clank video game that's coming out for the PS4. There is excuse me. There is Ukulele that's coming out. What else? What other games are there that's coming out in 2016?
There are so many games. They're doing the whole thing with the whole Gears of War collection leading up to a new Gears of War coming out. You have Scalebound, you have Street Fighter 5 coming out, you have the new King of Fighters coming out, and you have like a pretty good lineup of new games coming out. And by the way, before we discuss anything else, this is just our opinion. We're not trying to make it fact. It's just a simple discussion that's going on.
Yeah, pretty
And
much.
after this video, you can leave how you feel in the comment section below and tell us what you want us to discuss next.
Yep. So, got my throat. Um, why do you personally think that it was too early for Sony and, of course, I guess Nintendo and Microsoft and any
I
other
feel like it
companies to bring their
I feel
consoles?
like it was way too early for Nintendo, because you got to remember they came out with the Wii and even the Wii U. It was just like the Wii U hit faster than anything, and it was just nothing really on there, and people just were all like, okay, blind eye to that. I want to go for Xbox One or PS4, because we know that they're gonna have the games on there that we're going to enjoy. But when they came out, and people were all hyped for it because they were showing game lineups and everything, there was a lot of cancellation of video games. And when it came out, there wasn't too many games at all, period. There was only a select few games and the select AA titles.
Yeah.
So we really didn't have that much to practically look forward to at all. And not saying that, you know, it it's bad, but they should have waited until they had a certain amount of games to even release it. That's how I feel. Because if you look at it from a business standpoint, you'll see, okay, we have this, right? We have this Xbox One or this PS4 or even this Wii U. If we hold on a little bit and then throw it out to the consumers once we have enough games for it, and once we have a really good lineup. That way we're giving the game developers enough time as well, because even when you look at the new games that are coming out, they have lots of bugs in them.
Yeah.
Not to say that, the old generation was, perfect and it came out flawless, but we should be in more of an advanced state to where we shouldn't have to worry about it as much.
Yeah.
Now, what are your thoughts on the situation?
Well, my thoughts on this situation is that, like, really, um, I understand that the companies are trying to be competitive towards each other, and once one company comes out with the next gen console, they must do it as well because they feel as if it's a some. I think it makes them feel it's some type of a kind of a threat, I guess you could say, because it's them trying to compete really with the other companies, and they would probably sell more than the other companies. But then again, I might be wrong. Um, Maybe not that many people will be focused on something like Nintendo, because not that many games that are coming out for Xbox and PlayStation are really coming out for the Wii U or Wii period. Um,
Yeah,
Nintendo doesn't really have stuff like Assassin's Creed or Call of Duty or I don't know, many other games that you'll generally see on PlayStation or Xbox. And now, this actually does kind of put companies into a rush for creating a new video game. Since, they're coming out with a console a little too early, and you find an opportunity to bring some exclusives to the table, and the company has a limited time in order to actually complete a video game and release it for the console. Of course, that last generation consoles such as the PlayStation 3 or PlayStation 2 weren't perfect either, of course, and none of the other consoles. Of course, there's always this competition where there is a rush in the gaming market that kind of leads into for certain companies that it leads into a clusterfuck. There's many
yeah,
games that have been uncompleted, they've been rushed, and it's annoying because you want to enjoy the video game that you purchased to the fullest, You don't want to play a buggy video game. You want to finish a completed video game and enjoy it all, enjoy all of its content, enjoy what it offers for the gamer. Even though there's many games that you were hyped for, and it really doesn't happen at all. It really sucks. It really sucks because like companies don't find the time they need to create a video game, and of course, I bet that there are certain teams in each company that works differently. Obviously, they work differently one than the other. And for some,
yes, they work on different sections and parts of the games.
so for some companies, it's a whole lot easier to create a video game in like a really short time. But for some companies, it's very, very difficult, and all you'll get is a buggy video game that is just a complete mess. And now, on the other hand, the good part about new generation consoles, that if there is a video game that's coming out that's kind of buggy, they most likely have a chance to kind of fix the game since there is updates that they can release to the
Yes.
console. So that's a good thing. But like back in the day, like Crash to Insanity, Spyro Enter the Dragonfly.
Well, yeah,
Um,
they really couldn't do anything about that at all because we really didn't have the know-how like we have it now.
yeah, we don't really use the internet as a main thing. Like we haven't used it like that back in the day, in compared to how we use our internet connection on consoles these days. Excuse me. And I bet that it brings a lot of frustrations to many companies whenever it comes to bringing the consoles way too early. And I really think that if they would have came out with the consoles in 2016 or in late 2015 or early 2016, I think they would have came out with pretty good selective amount of games since in 2016, since we talked about this, there's a whole lot of new video games coming out. Companies are just making video games left and right, and it's awesome because now you'll have exclusives, now you'll have games that you actually look forward to. The only game that I actually personally looked forward to is quite possibly Knack, that came out
Yes.
when the PlayStation 4 came out. And I think that's pretty much it. I did not find anything else really interesting on the PlayStation 4 until I heard what's happening in 2016. Whenever the project for the Kickstarter for Ukulele was out, I actually donated a big amount of money for the donation,
Yeah,
for
you,
the Kickstarter, and of course the the game will be published on of course PC, PS4, and pretty much every platform that's currently on, which is amazing. And I would really like to get it both for PC and both for PS4 and stuff like that. And there's also the Ratchet and Clank movie, which is gonna be, which is a new movie that's coming out. I think it was supposed to be coming out in 2015, but then they kind of delay it to
set it
2016.
back 2016.
Yeah.
Yes. You want a hell of a movie though.
So in 2016 there is the Ratchet and Clank movie, the game. So it's kind of a reboot to the series, which is going to be really amazing. And is there any other platformers or something like that that's coming out in 2016? I just forgot which games are also coming out in 2016.
Oh god. For platformers, I haven't seen too many, and that's another discussion we're going to have on a later time
Mm-hmm.
about you know not enough platformers coming out and mascots dying off.
Yeah, quite
So
fast.
that's gonna take up a whole different time. So we can't do that in this right now.
Yeah. Well, I kind of find it more interesting to actually have the PS4 a little later because then I will buy stuff like Destiny, GTA 5. Of course, I have it for like PC, Xbox 360, but it's different players. Not everybody has it for a certain console, and it's really nice
Yes.
that you can actually play it on different consoles, and enjoy playing with friends. Of course, if you have the money, that is, you actually spend on the same copy of a game like a few times. Since I've actually got the when GTA 5 came out, I've got the collector's edition, which is very amazing. I mean, I'm a huge Grand Theft Auto fan. But back to the point. Is there anything you have to say?
There is some more I do have to say.
All
The
right.
only thing, and this is just in my opinion, the only thing that's really saving the PS4 and the Xbox One right now is they're hyping a lot of their games up and they're stalling and making you play these games, but also for the reverse compatibility of the Xbox One, and now it's heading towards the PS4 with their reverse compatibility. That's going to end up saving them enough to where they can get their stuff together, and then those games are going to start to hit without anybody really catching on way too much about it.
Hmm. Well, yeah, there was this thing that I really did not understand. Um, Whenever it comes to consoles, is I never understood why Sony made such a big complication whenever it comes to the backwards compatibility, or even what's there called, Microsoft. I never understood why did they overcomplicate themselves. I mean, obviously, um, the people who even work on emulators like that, like, emulators that you can find on PC, they could actually team up with these people and actually bring something good for the consoles, because then they will have a team that will just work on emulation, which will be really awesome, because then we can play. We can buy, let's say, the PlayStation 4, and we can enjoy playing PlayStation 1, 2, and 3, and 4 games on one console. It's what I believe a lot of people are wanting to happen eventually. Those who will, let's say, the PlayStation 3 will not be produced anymore. For these things, they need to create a console. If they created a PS4, they might as well do backwards compatibility for all of the previous consoles. You don't just do like, we're gonna, just release this console and we just forget that there is previous consoles. It's
Well,
it's kind of
here's the
annoying.
thing.
Hmm?
Here's the thing. As much as that goes along with it, you can only put so much inside these systems right here. So I can understand on that point, because it's not a computer. These consoles are not a computer. So you can't put as much as you would like to in it to be like, you can play PS1, you can play PS2, you can play PS3 on your PS4, you can play all that. And we'll have the whole library selection of games and stuff like that. But at the same time, I see these SNESes and Genesis that are coming back out, and they're in practically, you know, the new type of condition that they're in, and they have the USB controllers now and everything.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at some of these companies, and they're looking towards the future to where they did not want to dabble in reverse compatibility. They didn't. They just wanted to move forward. And they were all like, well, since you have a Xbox 360, either you can keep your Xbox 360 and get an Xbox One, or do this and that, but we don't want to even try to put reverse compatibility in any of it. That is, until they heard fans.
Yeah.
And the Xbox community, the PlayStation community, the gamers of the world, until they heard them, they didn't want to do anything.
Yeah.
And it sucks that it took them this long to even realize, hey, maybe we should do reverse compatibility. Maybe we should.
It'll just help a whole lot more, because think about it. There's a lot of people that, once they get older, they will. There's different types of gamers. I could say. There are gamers that really just, play video games for fun and stuff like that, but there's also collectors. There are also other people that that game in very different ways, and they would like to actually get back to playing their old video games, their old stuff over again, which is something that, a lot of gamers like to do. Why do a lot of gamers actually complain about backwards compatibility? Because it's kind of important to them. Because some people, their older consoles do not work anymore. Even though like the PlayStation 2 can play PlayStation 1 games, and the PlayStation 3 can play PlayStation 1 games, but not PlayStation 2 games. Only like the very first models of the PlayStation 3 were able to play PlayStation 2 games, and even that was selective. It wasn't a big amount of a library. Which really sucks. It really does suck. Because what I was trying to tell you, like, if they were gonna come out with a console, with a new console, such as the PS4, they should have gave it more time, build the specs of the PlayStation 4 to be a whole lot stronger, that it could hold, that it could actually play all the three consoles video games. I know it sounds a whole lot big. About it.
That's what's hilarious about it, because these quote-unquote new gen systems are 4 years behind.
Yeah.
And it's kind of crazy, because then we're all like, we want the new generation consoles and oh, well, this is new gen, look at these new graphics, and those are 4-year-old graphics. What are you talking about? So can you really just call this new gen graphics?
If there is something you would say, if there is something you'd call, what do you think is the best console? Do you consider the PC
the best console? Look, here's the thing. This is why we have to leave the PC out of this console war. Is because the PC is the thing that makes all the games. So by default, it wins automatically.
In a way, yeah. Even though, whenever it comes to a computer, you can always upgrade your computer. Whenever it comes to a console, you can't really upgrade your console.
And I wish they would make that easier, to where we could upgrade our consoles. We would just have to go out and they'll be like, we have this new part for the console that you can get, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But I can understand also about why they do it, for money purposes and stuff like that, and they don't want to go through all that process. They're not the computer, they're consoles.
Yeah.
But it's just, it's crazy, man.
Even though the 360 is technically not the 360, but the Xbox One, and even the 360 is a PC.
Well, I mean, we could say they're PCs all we want to, but consoles are way far away from being PCs. They just started to even dip the toe into that territory.
Yeah. It's very interesting. It's very interesting about this whole thing. And, well, I don't really have much to add into this. Do you have anything else to say?
Basically, just think about it before you try to buy it. That's all I would have to say. If you have a lineup of games that you know you're going to want, at least, I will say this. If you at least have about 3 to 5 games that you like on the system, okay, yes, you should totally get it. But if you're seeing that you really aren't seeing any games for you, and you just want it because, and I can understand this too, Later on, you're going to be like, okay, I have the console. Games are now finally coming out, and now I could get it. But at the same time, you could save yourself a whole lot of trouble and a whole lot of money also, because if you wait on it, those new games that are going to come out are going to be bundled with the Xbox One and PS4.
Yeah.
So I would say patience is a virtue. Grit your teeth, bear with it, and wait.
Yeah, I think that it's something that a lot of people kind of struggle to do, since a lot of people kind of rush also to buy these new generation consoles, which kind of leads into kind of a well, I guess kind of a clusterfuck, since you're just spending a whole lot of money on nothing, unless it's something
Yep.
you find really interesting, because, you know, every gamer has a different taste in video games, and, you know, whatever floats their boat, you know, it's their own problems. Well, Facebook, it's their own problem. I I can just say, but it's best to actually wait, because there's always nice deals, and there's price drops eventually, and believe me, you're not losing anything if you wait a little bit to actually get the console. I'm actually waiting on getting the console just for the newer games that are coming out.
Yep.
So yeah, guys, that was pretty much for it for this discussion, and I really hope you guys can actually contribute into this conversation, and pretty much we would like to hear your opinion, what you have to say. Of course, this video was not made, as Leon said. It was not made on a purpose to annoy anybody or anything like that. If you're pissed off, it's not the place to come to. And we would like to hear your opinion. Anything else that's offensive will be muted. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to drop a comment, of course, and even a like, and subscribe to our channel if you haven't yet, and we shall see you in the next video. So thanks for watching, guys, and goodbye.
See you guys later.